Hello LEGO fans, Bricks Unbound here with another video in my Building Hogwarts series. And as you can see before you, I've made some progress on the bell towers as well as the long gallery, which you can just barely see peeking over the top there behind this section of the build. It's become a bit taller on the sides. I finally figured out some more final types of designs that I wanted to do for all these little, I suppose they're arrow slits in the castle walls, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good compared to the source material. Just for a reminder as far as what area of Hogwarts I'm talking about in case you didn't see the last video or have forgotten. So looking at the full model of it, so once again we have the Great Hall over here. It goes across the Viaduct Bridge, Viaduct Entrance Hall, and then there's this other little building sticking off, which is probably where I'm going to stick the library. And finally this longer section here leading to these two bell towers. That's the long gallery and the bell towers. So the view we're at right now for my video, we're looking at it from this end, and this is the far end of that building. So here's a zoomed in look from a little bit different angle. So once again, long gallery, bell towers, we're still looking at it from this side. And then the building I'm currently making is this. So the bell towers with that little entranceway in between them. If you're looking at the castle, you've got greenhouses here as well as along that side. So that's kind of the part of the building I'm working on. So again, back behind it, I think this is turning out pretty good. Obviously, I have a long ways to go. This is not even close to half the height this is probably going to be, which is a little problematic because the bell towers are not even close to the tallest structure at Hogwarts, and I'm gonna potentially run out of room before I hit the ceiling for the astronomy tower and stuff. So we'll see exactly how that works. Maybe I'm just misjudging it, but once again, looking at that picture of the bell tower compared to where I'm at here, so this line right there is the height that this left tower is at right now. The peaked roof is back behind that. So as I said, that's like not even halfway of the height, but that's where I'm at, and it's about to the peak up here right now. That's just slightly off screen. That is, I believe it was 38 bricks tall, which is just crazy. That's very tall. It's not quite as tall as, say, Ninjago City, I don't think. I think it's slightly shorter than that set, but still putting on some good height here. Let's go ahead and do a quick walk around this then. So you can probably tell, compared to the last video, the doors are different. Previously I was using just the prefabricated door piece that was here. As you can see, that's slightly, I think this is about 8 or so bricks high, or studs, plates? No, studs. So I built studs on the side for this door here, as you can see. They open up just fine back behind my sig fig there. This door just was not high enough because this archway had to be like 4 or 5 bricks lower, which then left a really big ugly gap here of just blank wall, which was not very exciting. So I decided to do some brick built doors. They're just plates that then I put some clips on and stuck them there. Not the final versions by any means, because there's a little bit more decoration to them in the films. They're not just plain wood, they've kind of got wood paneling type look going on with them. So still working on that, but that is at least the size that they need to be to fill up that gap. So I think they're turning out pretty well. Not super happy with this detailing up here. I'll just keep working on that. You also might have noticed when I showed that picture before that above this door here, it's actually 3 windows wide, and those windows in theory are the same width as the windows that are in the towers. So obviously that is inaccurate. I'm also not super happy with how this design up here works. Let me see if I can pull up that picture again to show you the comparison. So here's that the middle structure there. So 3 windows, the peak going up there, and yeah, it's kind of hard to see. But if you zoom in on that area there, you can see there's that kind of carved in section, which looks way different than these three ugly gaps, so I need to figure out a better way to do that, but this is what I've got at the moment. As far as these windows go, as I said, technically these are supposed to be the same width as these windows here. However, if I do that, I can maybe fit two, but then they're pressed right up against the wall of the towers. It just didn't look quite right. I did try it. Also, the other solution, potentially, would be to then just narrow these windows in, because I could fit three this width across, but again, they're pressed right up against the edge of the tower, so I need to change my arches and things like that. So, as I said, the other solution would be to just narrow these windows, so then they're only two wide, like that. The difficulty there is, as you get around this side, the windows on the long gallery there, specifically that lower level of windows, are supposed to be wider than the windows above them and the windows further up from there. So if I narrow those windows on the sides of this tower, then these will all look off and out of place. I don't really want that. For whatever reason, it's more important to me right now to keep the side of this building looking accurate than to have to force in three windows on the front. I don't know why. I think it's because when you look at Hogwarts from the front, you see this part of the building. So I really want to make sure that this part looks right. So it wins priority over the front of the bell towers, unfortunately. So they'll probably stay about like they are. This side here is exactly like it was in the last video. I know that window's off center. It's just barely balanced there, so no worries there. And of course this front section of the bell towers is not attached. So I'm dodging around my light here. Let me spin this around so we can see it from the back side. I'm going to have to set the camera down for just a moment here. You can gaze at the side of the long gallery. Okay, so here we go. Back to here. So, in the previous update you could see, so luckily each of these sections just lifts right off. Previous update, these stairs were here. Stairs are still there. Obviously they run into this floor with how they're currently arranged, so I'm going to have to, I believe I'm just going to change the floor in here to use some smaller plates than the 16 by 16, so then I can have a gap in there for stairs to come up, because that will lead up to this level. I'm thinking there's going to be probably an 8 by 16 plate here, so there's a little bit of gap so students can look down at what's going on in the entranceway, but there's still room to walk across. So you can come up these stairs, walk across there, and there'll be a hallway either leading off right here, or maybe in the middle in this case. Because on the lower floor, if you remember, this here is actually not an entrance to a hallway. On the long gallery, which actually is right behind it, there's a statue, a little nook there, and it's solid wall on the other side. So there would be solid wall here, it'll just have that little fire bowl thing in the middle. Statue here with the fire bowls on either side, and then this will be the hallway that students can come down to then get to their classes from behind there. Let me remove this section. So obviously not done, but I kind of have what's at least going to be in these areas. So over here, this was here last time, it's the like the one-eyed witch statue with the humpback to it. Over here with Harry, he's got his Marauders map there, ready to take the way to Honeydukes' cellar in Hogsmeade. And if you look through this archway, there's just a little study area I made there. Obviously missing some pieces and some are in the wrong colors. But there was room for 2 tables and 4 chairs there, so I can have a few students sitting down there doing their studying. Up here, these exposed studs, I'm planning on sticking some kind of portrait or some art piece or something in each one of these archways. That way it's not just a blank wall like it would be otherwise. Not entirely sure how I'm going to work those. I might just stick tiles and plates and things on sideways onto a larger plate that then will fit in there to make a little display. Or I have also considered pulling out all these bricks in here and then building it up, plates on top of plates on top of plates, to make a design there, because you won't be able to really see it from the other side. And if I did it with some transparent pieces, it could even have a little bit of light coming through from that window behind it. So I might try something like that as well. Lots of experimentation going on. You'll see even in here that each side is not necessarily even with the other at the moment. I've just been trying out different heights for things. But I think it's coming along pretty well. This is not necessarily going to stay there. I was just messing around again with some different ideas. So very, very basic, the 4 house colors there, just to give a little bit more color than tan to this entire structure. I'm planning on designing this piece, probably, so it is removable also, so it just comes off. But, I don't know. I'll probably leave it there, because otherwise it's hard to get it to line up properly with the sides of the building. Anyway, so to the long gallery behind it, I have not done a whole lot here. I kind of laid out, you can see here the walkway, the corridor, and then there will be a classroom here. There's another gap down here. I know the lighting's terrible, but another gap here to a classroom. Will probably fit at least 1 or 2 more classrooms down there, because this is still not quite full length, but it's coming along pretty nicely. And then there's a covered walkway that goes around a courtyard in this section of Hogwarts. So that's what this width here is for that walkway, and a courtyard in the middle. So lots and lots more building to go, even just with this section of the castle. I'm nowhere near complete at all with really any of it. Like I said, I have lots of orders coming in though, so hopefully I'll be getting some more parts. I've actually run out of the window frames. I've run out of the studs that have, or bricks that have studs on 2 sides, adjacent sides, which is what I'm using to attach things here. You can see all kinds of other little gaps here. I need to buy a bunch more of these 1x2 by 2/3 cheese wedges. That's what I'm using here to reduce the gap. You can see how they're attached. So lots more parts currently on the way. Hopefully I'll get some of those by the end of this week. I know the Veterans Day holiday here in the United States did throw off deliveries of things a little bit, but everything's coming along nicely. I hope you have enjoyed this update once I get this back together. And there we go. So the long gallery attached to the bell towers. Plenty more building to do, and I hope you come back for the next update.